We're back again.
We are live.
How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, Puto Blanco. How are you?
Ended another week, another busy week, news-wise. Had some interesting things happen in my neck of the woods. Suddenly on Tuesday evening, a KKK sign showed up on a abandoned building in a Dahlonega area, which is right around the corner. Had some protests, people throwing rocks.
It's the site of the original gold rush.
There you go. There you go. And one hell of a place to buy beer. They got the Gold Rush Festival every year. They kind of open up the streets.
Yeah, which was really cool 20 years ago. It is so large and overrated now.
Gotcha. And the roads there, they really don't accommodate the traffic that comes in and out of there. It's hard to live up here and get to any of these side towns if you're not taking...
Like Helen. You know, they have an awesome Oktoberfest, but it takes you 6 hours to get into their town center for it.
They've got one in Whitesville. Now, you're talking about a place that's hard to get in and out of. You got to take over the mountain, Blood Mountain, and that's not an easy road to drive.
It's fun.
It is fun.
Let's take the sports cars up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of sport bikes, too.
Yeah.
It's fun, and it's fun to get behind these guys and watch them do their thing, but damn, there's some craziness happens on that hill.
Yeah. All right, I'm sorry, I off-tracked you. Anyway, KKK sign, abandoned building, Dahlonega.
A lot of protesters, the usual folks, and I get it. I mean, Dahlonaga's really not known. They're pretty integrated. They've got some really good folks that live there.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't deserve to have some base or somebody, even if it's a joke, it shouldn't be there, of all places. Dahlonaga's a good place to live. For them to take that away from those folks, they really shouldn't do that. Snatch that sign down, move on, folks. Let's get out of this deal.
Yeah, they had a good military college there, one of the few military colleges in the country.
We have a buddy that we work with who was telling me that there's an abandoned nuclear. It wasn't what you call a test site. It was a mining site that
where they reburied the uranium.
No, it was where the first centrifuge was made.
Oh,
and it was right there because they found not only was gold found in that area, but the uranium was found there, and they started spinning it and centrifuging it and all this mess right there. Then somewhere along the way, they moved that spot from there to Nevada, Vegas, wherever that deal is, Area 51, wherever all that goes on. And that it would be a cool trip to take
to New Mexico.
Los Alamos or whatever they do there. But yeah, leave Dahlonega alone. Those folks, they don't bother anybody. They don't deserve that. On the other hand,
who does deserve that?
Yeah, and that is such an outlived, kind of fucked out situation. These
fucked out.
Yeah, fucked out.
Yeah.
These guys, I get embarrassed whenever I see these white supremacists talk. They're everything that you expect from a fucking redneck. Everything that you could ever want from a redneck.
And they give you good rednecks a bad name, huh?
Yeah, there is no such thing as a good redneck. There's no such thing. They're just dumb, and then there's them other folks. It's such a fucked out situation. It's usefulness, if there ever was a usefulness. It's not something that we need anymore. I get the whole, and I'm sick of the political correctness myself. But these guys, they take it to such an extreme that it's nauseating. I don't get as much info from Black Lives Matter, what they say, what they do,
You're not a subscriber?
Not yet. I'm kind of curious as to what happens.
But that's your boy, George Soros.
Yeah, this global thing. I didn't want to go that far yet, but yeah, if you want to go down the Soros trail, that son of a bitch really deserves to die. Yeah. And it should be violent, and it should be on TV.
I told you, the pay-per-view alone.
Yes.
Think of our national debt.
Mount a camera in the end of a 50 cal and launch that son of a bitch a couple of thousand
I'm sure
yards.
The CIA has cameras small enough for that.
That would be fun. I would actually pay to see that.
I don't know if it could transmit fast
fucking
enough.
Brain, the evil bastard. You know, Hungary has kicked him out. They don't want him back.
Well, that's good.
And
I'm sure he deserves it.
It's only a matter of time until this new administration wants him to leave his property. I mean, as it turns out, from what I'm reading, AP has already posted that we've sent the National Guard after the immigrants. Unfortunately for the AP, they had to retract that statement because it never happened. So, I mean, here we go with this fake news again. Trump followed up that AP retraction with. There's a lot of folks out there who are saying that Trump is the enemy of the media, or media is the enemy of Trump. And Trump steps up today and he said, no, the enemy is the media. It's the enemy of Americans, period. He doesn't have a problem with the news, but they should do their job. And
Agreed.
I absolutely loved that press conference that he had with those guys yesterday. That was so funny.
You know, the only thing the left is saying, and I'm surprised you're saying it's funny because normally you're the one screaming about it.
Yeah.
The only thing the left has to say is how unpresidential he is, how he's not tactful and all this stuff. Look, I don't give a fuck. As long as he does his job, as long as he makes America great again.
Well, you know, he met with the president of Canada this week.
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister sent word to all of Europe that you may not like this guy, but he gets things done. And this is coming from the very left Prime Minister of Canada. You know, so
even their crazy right-wingers are still pretty left by our standards.
I absolutely know nothing about Canada. I wish I knew more. I mean, where they stand. Does their health care work? You know,
no.
The Michael
There's
Moore,
a 9-month wait period. They come here for their health care. They come here and pay cash out of pocket.
I don't understand how Michael Moore gets away with saying the things or doing the things that he does.
He's a liberal. He gets away with anything he wants because there's no checks and balances. If you call him on his shit, you're a racist. You're this.
I read
you're
somewhere
that.
this week that he claims that he's going to castrate himself, or there's going to be.
I wish fucking pay-per-view that motherfucker too. Pay-per-view that bitch too.
Yeah, please feel free to castrate yourself. And there's people lining up on the borders, and if you harass them, they're going to castrate themselves. And it's like, well, please. I mean, it makes for good television, but feel free.
Yeah.
Had a guy in Italy on live TV this week who set himself on fire in a chair. He was speaking, and this was strange. I've never seen anything like this. He's doing an interview.
Uh-huh.
It's going well. The interviewer is doing the interview, of course.
All right.
He's answering.
All right.
And as he's answering, he takes out a bottle of lighter fluid, pours it all over himself, and sets himself on fire in the television studio. It wasn't live, of course, but
No.
I got to see like the tail end of the fun stuff, and Italians burn well.
Do they?
Yeah, they
Probably stay crunchy in milk too.
Yeah.
Hey, a couple of years ago, we had a guy in Italy up in Milan. He walks into Sunday Mass, you know, because everybody, if you live in Italy, you're Catholic, or
of course.
there's no way around
Stop
it.
being in Latin America. Yeah.
Exactly. You're Catholic, or you're just not religious at all. And he walks in the Mass, Sunday Mass, and it turns out he has some mental problems, but they don't know that at the time. I know, shocking, right?
Yeah.
The fact that he's Catholic makes him have mental problems.
Yeah, there's always that.
Yeah. So he just walks down the aisle. Priest is doing his thing. Bishop, whatever the hell he was, doing his thing, and he literally rips the eyeballs out of his own head. Now, how he doesn't pass out from the pain, but he gouges his own eyes out with his own hands right there in the middle of the church.
And this is the guy at the front who's doing the talking.
No, he walks
He's
right
one
up
of the
to him.
parishioners.
Yeah, no, it's just he walks in like it's in the middle of Mass.
Oh, really? So
He
this
just
guy
walks
just
in.
walks up to the priest.
He walks in the building, straight up the line,
And starts ripping his eyes
and
out.
he just walks up right in front of the priest and just.
Yeah, that's fun.
He didn't die.
That's entertainment.
That's something special.
I'll guarantee the music stopped.
Yeah. They stopped that hymn, I'm sure.
Have you seen the movie? It's gonna take me a second. Damn it.
While you're trying to think of the movie,
Yes.
do you mentioned Hungary, persona non grata for
Yes.
for Soros.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of a Muslim cleric that lives here in the U.S., Fethullah Gulen?
Yes, that name sounds familiar. From where?
Yeah, he apparently is very outspoken against the president of Turkey. And
Well, he should be.
and
He is a
yeah,
member of the Muslim Brotherhood.
right. And so this president has basically convicted him.
Erdogan.
Erdogan, whatever his name is. Yeah, has tried him in absentia and convicted him of crimes against the government, trying to overthrow the government, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he lives in the small little town that I'm from.
Does he really?
He does. A massive spread.
Well, the more you read, the more that you're finding out about Pennsylvania, that they're like a stranglehold for one of the stories I was going to talk about tonight. We're finding here in Atlanta this new chemical compound. It's called Gray Death. It's taking
Ooh,
over.
drugs. I like drugs.
Yeah. This stuff is similar to crocodile in Russia, but it's cleaned up because of our standards of cleanliness here. So we can use 93 octane as opposed to like 63, which they get over in Russia. So
hey, if it burns, it burns. Just ask the guy with the lighter fluid.
Yeah, yeah, that was fun. But this stuff is taking over. They're trying to move the heroin addicts, the opiates, onto this, and apparently they're having a real good time with it. The folks are just dying instantly. But the cool thing is that the better the batch, the more people die, and the more people are banging on the door to get their re-up. So, I mean, more power to them. Why slow them down now?
Yeah, I mean, the gene pool could use good cleansing. Really, I mean, it's a little diluted at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people need to get back into reality. That kind of ties in. Oh, but the reason I brought that up about that drug is because in the same article I read here in Atlanta, Philadelphia is being run over with it too.
That doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Heroin's huge up there. Heroin is the thing.
I mean, it makes you wonder why. Why are there certain areas that are targeted? Why?
I think it's just. I think it's population density. If you look at population map of the U.S., the Northeast has such a massive group of population versus anywhere else. I mean, it's all across.
Kind of like the Beach Boys said, if you want people, they got the most.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But people tend to gravitate. If you looked at the population map of the entire U.S., all along the coast, or as close to the coast as reasonably possible.
When you say it that way, that makes sense because you want to be where the folks are,
and you got all those ports up there. You got very busy airports. You got the Canadian border, sneak shit through. There's plenty of opportunity to sneak whatever through you need to get through. Heroin is huge up there, like crystal meth is down here. Well, it's not crystal meth anymore. We've had this conversation. Like meth is here, bathtub meth.
Shit.
Yeah. So I heard. Anyway.
Shit that makes people talk through their cheeks. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. But I can't understand these folks who are always searching for the replacement to heroin. These people remind me of, you seen the jackasses who do the extreme skiing, and they can't stand on the damn mountain. They can't climb it, so they have to be dropped off by helicopter.
Yeah.
So this is always fun.
Yeah.
You've got a guy who flies to the top of a peak. He skis for 11 seconds. He goes 12 feet and then falls down a fucking mountain. And as this is happening, they're at the base of the mountain filming, and there's a line. The guy in the helicopter can't get the people up to the fucking peak fast enough so they can come and fall down this mountain. That's exactly what these folks with this heroin and this replacement remind me of. Speaking of heroin.
Need your fix?
Pablo, no, yeah.
Sobriety is hell, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty depressing. Pablo Escobar's son. He's got a book coming out. It's a tell-all. It's going to implicate a whole lot of folks in the CIA into the cocaine running and the heroin running.
Fascinated by Pablo Escobar. Have you ever seen Narcos?
Yes.
On Netflix?
Yes.
Man, if half of that shit is true, it's fucking wild.
I believe just about every bit of it.
Yeah. I do too.
The trail of bodies and tears that follow this shit is just crazy. And one of my favorite shows is either Drugs Inc. or Gangland. Now, I know they haven't made a new Gangland in a while.
Right. Well, there's only so many gangs to really talk about that are of any significance,
Well, that's true. But Drugs Inc., they target cities and what their drug of choice is. And that's what got me to asking the question a little while ago. Why certain drugs in certain areas, and then there's other drugs in other, and then you've got Los Angeles who has it all, and they're the hub to ship all of this shit. But they don't ship heroin to New York. They ship it to Chicago so the people in Chicago can get it to St. Louis. And the way that whole business and the whole...
It's a nice distribution channel,
But yeah, Escobar there's going to be a shakeup with the CIA if this book comes out and any of it can be confirmed.
Well, how many people that were in power back in the 70s, late 70s, and early 80s are still have anything to do with it. You know, if you've got spies that were spies back then, and they're possibly still spies now, but they're so deep undercover. I mean, we're talking about high-level people you have to go after for something like this.
Henry Kissinger is one that comes to mind that would still be involved in that shit.
Yeah, probably.
He was all the way through. Well, Soros, I have no doubt. Soros, Kissinger.
You and Soros and CNN and...
There's certain entities that need to be crushed, and even though I'm not really the liberal, I'm kind of in the middle, but there's certain entities that need to be crushed, and this globalism thing, and so George Soros is number one. The Rockefellers, quit giving these folks hearts. Let them die. They don't need any more hearts.
Hey, if you can afford a heart, buy a heart.
The evil guy that was George W.'s vice president. Cheney, right? He don't need any more hearts. He's cooked his up 4 different times. Let him go.
He's 100. Let him die.
He's been dead for years, or he should have been. Another local story. Now this will be like inside between me and you.
Oh Jesus!
You know what's happening this weekend?
Is it Gay Pride again? Are you excited?
It's close.
Okay.
It's the no prep race down at South Georgia Motorsport.
Again. Damn it. Why aren't we there?
I don't know.
I saw Daddy Dave doing a freaking wheelie down the track.
Chucky hit the wall too.
Did he?
Yeah, he's bent the body work on that Mustang. Next weekend, next Saturday, I may get a run at a dirt car up here.
White Barrow?
No, actually we're going to Hartwell.
Okay.
Practice to do the shakedown.
That's cool.
Run hot laps.
Well, that'll be fun.
I'm a motorsports guy. I absolutely love it. I've kind of got G here into it a little at a time, but he still thinks I'm a flake. But I do. I absolutely love
I'm a different kind of motorsports guy. He's they're making a left turn. NASCAR fan.
I'm not upset that NASCAR is starting back. Matter of fact, there's a race tomorrow night at Daytona.
Yeah, I'll mark that right on my calendar next time. I don't give a fuck.
Well, you can do that. Which is...
To beat Jeff Gordon's ass one more time.
Interesting story out of Santa Fe, which I find, before I even tell the story...
New Mexico.
When I get to Santa Fe... Well, New Mexico.
That's what I said, New Mexico.
That is what you said, right? Okay.
Seaway. Puto Bronco.
They lost an employee this week.
Tuna's extra crispy, huh?
Well, fellow jumped into several
chunky.
tons, or he went into the tank to clean the cooker. They dropped 12 tons of tuna on top of this guy.
24,000 pounds of tuna.
24,000 pounds of tuna.
Congratulations, you're dead.
Yeah. Well, they cooked him, steamed him, canned him.
Well, that's the only way to do it anyway.
Shipped him out. Didn't really catch it until the vat was empty. By this time, some of the skew on the top of that vat had already been released to the public. So we're looking at Jeffrey Dahmer situations all over the
We're eating people?
Yes. Again, yes. And the interesting thing about this is you think about tuna. You know, somewhere near the processing plant, you would think there would be water, but they do this in Santa Fe.
Yeah, there's no water there. They ain't getting no water in Santa Fe.
very, very little, very little. What you got?
Local or state level?
I don't care about. Hit me.
State level, nothing. Something that's always fascinated me is North Korea. Ooh. And so current dictator Kim Jong-il, his older brother,
the guy who didn't get left the throne.
Kim Jong-un is the current.
Yes.
His father is Kim Jong-il. So apparently,
you know who the grandfather is?
Kim Il-sung?
No, Kim Jong. What? Kim Jong-wei.
Is that what it is?
Yes. They're just a bunch of Kim Jongs, a bunch of inbreed in there.
Yeah.
You would think they would change the first name, but they'd just like to change the last. So
the older brother, Kim Jong-nam, was apparently a playboy. I didn't know you could. Didn't know you could be such a thing, right? Ooh. And if you've seen him, he's a mixture of his father and his brother.
Very studly.
They are not an attractive group of people.
Oh.
So anyway, he's living his little playboy lifestyle.
But don't all Koreans look the same?
Yeah.
flat face, the same color hair. I mean, when they're doing a march through their Tiananmen Square or whatever they want to call it there, it basically looks like a reel of them running the same person over and over. But yeah.
That's good editing right there.
Yeah.
So he was in Malaysia, whereas he'd been living for a while, and apparently he's, feeding off the North Korean tit and living good and living well, and
He's the only one.
Yeah. He was assassinated.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
Couldn't happen to
a nicer guy, a better family. Yeah, if they could get his younger brother here anytime soon before Trump blows his sorry behind off the face of the earth, that'd probably be for the best.
This story was the assassins.
So the assassins were two females, and they drugged his ass.
Oh, sweet! I bet that was hard.
Or poisoned, rather. Poisoned. I'm sorry. They poisoned him, and he was in the airport to take a flight from Malaysia to somewhere in China, and he realized that he was having problems. He wasn't feeling well, and he went to a counter, like American Airlines or whatever counter it was, to start to ask for help. And that was about all she wrote.
Oh, he dropped dead in the
his sorry
terminal.
ass died right there.
Oh, so there should be plenty of video of this.
I'm hoping so.
Man,
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Like puke foam all over
Wouldn't you?
the little Malaysian chick, and then just drop dead. It would be fucking awesome.
So female assassins, and apparently this isn't the first time they've tried it, which is the amusing side of it, as far as I'm concerned.
Who sent these folks out? What was it? I'm assuming it was a planned hit.
Yeah, it was Kim Jong-un. It was his brother.
Oh, his brother had him killed.
Absolutely.
Really?
Well, because he was the heir apparent.
Well, he's killed his wife, and he killed his younger sister, and apparently he must have killed his dad at some point in time. The dude, no way he died of natural causes. So this dude's doing well.
He was doing well. He was apparently the heir apparent for a lot of years. He was a part of the the Democratic People's Republic of Korea's committees.
Cool, I love any organization that calls himself the Democratic fuck is basically what they are. Democrat fucks.
This from the liberal. This from the liberal.
But I mean, evidently, I have to be turning the corner because I see this and I don't know where to. Again, I think I brought this up last time. I don't know where to go. I don't know when you really see what's going on. And because of this show, I've been investigating it a little bit further, and I'm like, I know that I'm not into the religious part of it, and I don't really give a damn about abortion, and I don't give a damn about. I do kind of understand the conservative view when it comes to the financial side, but a lot of this social shit I just don't get, starting with the religion, especially going into abortion. Now, I don't know if we ever talked about this or not, but like my opinion on abortion is you're fine, go get your abortion, but at the same time, we're going to tie your tubes so you can get off the system and let the abortion thing work itself out.
Abortion's legal. That's where it ends for me. Abortion's legal.
Yeah.
I really, when it's illegal, it'll be a different topic. For now,
You think that'll ever happen?
No.
Oh, absolutely not.
I don't think so. And certainly not under Trump. And
it's going to be too hard to get across that wall to get down to Mexico to have an abortion in a taco truck if, after this wall goes up.
Yeah, we can get a hot coat hanger here and get this done right now. We don't need to fucking scale a wall for it. No, it's one of those things where it's the woman's choice, and since I don't have that type of plumbing and I can't have a child, I don't feel like I have a say in it. Now,
here's what's different though. This younger generation, the women who are of the age now where they can't have children have become so entitled that, and I'm going to tell you a personal story. I know this firsthand. It's closer to me than I want it to be, but it's not a family member. Let me just say it this way. Young lady gets pregnant, quits her job, hooks up some other guy, takes him off the market, gets him married. She gets pregnant again. As soon as she gets pregnant, they both quit their job. The disability angle is weighing heavily in how these two people who maybe the reason their house looks the way that it does is because they're disabled, but I see them doing things that don't make it look like they're disabled. That makes sense?
Yes.
They look perfectly healthy to me.
Yes.
But I don't understand this whole group. Now, they quit. They got their feelings hurt. in a cotton mill of all things,
Okay.
and they just quit. They walk off. No regard for either one of the kids, themselves. They're right back at home, living off their parents, and this entitled bunch. They just scare me. They're
Well, I don't know as much so much the entitlement, but there's no life has gotten too easy. It's too easy to get a divorce. It's too easy to get an abortion. It's too easy to undo something that you've already started instead of fixing it. You know, back in my grandparents' generation, and well, in this
My
case,
parents.
your generation, divorce didn't really happen, and abortions and stuff like that. Well, they did happen, but they weren't as easy to do, and it wasn't the type of accessibility that we have now. So there's such little consequence, or in some case, no consequence to people's actions, that we have the spike in divorces. I mean, 2/3 of divorces, 2/3 of marriages end in divorce.
What's the difference in the entitlement generation then and the snowflakes? Because it's the snowflakes that.
Well, the entitlement generation is this whole millennial group, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And then you have the
Getting a high score on a video game is going to get you a better job and demand that you have to do absolutely nothing for your pay.
no.
Except lynch off of your parents. Moving into the basement of your parents single wide is probably not the plan you had in mind.
I don't know how a single one had a basement. I
It's
just don't
happening,
get.
I guarantee you.
I'm sure it is. You know, but you got to blame the parents for allowing it to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I was out of my house at 17. It was just one of those things. Like, it was time to go. It was time to go. And you know, you've kind of figured it out along the way. It's a different generation. The parents are allowing the children to not be productive members of society, to live in their basement, to do all these things, or not do all these things, as it were, sometime,
Well-
because there's no accountability. It starts with the parents for the same reason. You know, for the same reason the high school graduation rates are so low. The parents.
See, that's a statistic that you have to look for, right? It's one of those things that you would think at the end of the school year that it should just pop up and say, look, we lost a lot more graduates this year. You don't hear about this. I mean, the school system is failing so bad.
Right.
They've got this, the person that they want to put in charge of
Betsy DeVos.
Yes. Has that happened yet? Is that going to happen? What is the problem with her? Do we know what the
Oh,
issue-
she was confirmed.
She was confirmed.
Everybody has been confirmed.
What about the guy who was fired earlier this week? The guy who quit?
He quit, but he was. But everybody's got through Senate confirmation, so they bitch and him and haw and all this stuff, and then they fucking confirm everybody. So
Okay.
now I wonder how much of that is the. I wonder how much of that is them saying, "All right, let's give him what he wants," so we can say, "Hey, it's your fault. It was your guy." But that doesn't work for me because you let it happen.
I don't think that's going to be the case with this administration because the people who he's putting in charge on his cabinet, take Rex Tillerson,
Okay.
Secretary of State,
Yeah.
just tonight, huge shakeup. It's so new. It's just breaking as we speak. Nobody really knows where anybody's going to land.
And that includes me.
But that shakeup, there's people who are lifers in the State Department that are running for the hills. They don't know where they're going to land or if they're going to land.
They shouldn't land anywhere where our government is fat. The very first thing Trump did stopped all federal hiring.
Good enough. And that's what I'm hoping that happens with Betsy DeVos because the entire education system needs to be basically dismantled. That teachers union needs to go away. It's another one of these things as time has come and gone.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody today, and no, maybe it was you, about the teachers union that owned, what was that?
Yeah. The
Well-
teachers, the place we worked. The place.
Oh, the building that we actually work
Yeah.
inside is owned by a teachers union. That just blew me away.
It's owned by Tia Kreff.
Really?
Uh-huh. $32 million building. That was the cost to put it up 20 years ago. Or however
And they're
many.
still collecting rent on it 20
course.
years later, and
Of
it
course
goes
they
to the a branch of the NEA.
Yeah.
Really? That's always good to know.
Uh-huh.
That's just another reason to hate the fucking place.
Uh-huh. Pretty much.
But yeah, I'm sitting here watching this now as it happens, and there's folks who are, their whole job has been with the State Department, and these guys are about to be tossed out on their ass. And it seems like just about every department in the cabinet, I don't know how they hired such good people so quick. You've got from November the 8th to January the 20th to get your nominees together.
They didn't just hire that. They hired 4,415 people, including the Senate confirmation guys. Now, obviously, a lot of them didn't require Senate confirmation.
Yeah, well,
but the total number that he had to hire for his administration for just baseline, just not creating any new positions.
Yeah, they put a freeze on hiring. So how did they pull this off?
They put a freeze on hiring new people outside of that. He had these people in place. These were people that were part of the administration. Part of the people that are on his team. So we're talking about people that are, aides and all that kind of stuff, and people that
mail deliverers,
and some of that, and the people that are parts of the administration and their new secretary of this and secretary of that and all that kind of stuff. So that number was that. What he put the freeze on hiring was, the Department of the Interior has 300 open jobs. Let's hold off on that.
I don't know how they did that. Man, they went to friggin' work because there is shit being done. It may not all be right.
But moving the peanut.
Damn, I'm here to tell you.
Inching it along.
They went in there and they dismantled John Kerry and Hillary Clinton's baby. Their State Department baby. Their little meetings with my buddy Soros and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the walking lizards or what have you. These folks are on the run. Now, I read that there's a faction of the globalist movement that has taken over a section of the U.S. military in an attempt to be the backup muscle in case Obama comes back with a coup that tries to throw Trump out of office.
Well, here's the thing. When was the last time a president left office and stayed in D.C. and got involved and had a comment about every fucking decision that was made? You had your 8 years. Get your shit together and move the fuck on. Go enjoy your private life while we pay for it for the rest of ours.
Yeah, shut up.
Seriously. Right. Go enjoy it. Go fucking water skiing with Richard Branson and all this other shit.
Yeah.
And I'd do it too if I got the chance. That's not the point.
Sure.
Go enjoy it
with Bill Gates. I get it. I understand.
Go enjoy it. Figure out what it is you're going to do to live off the government for the rest of your fucking existence, just like you did before.
Yes. Well, and during, there was a few golf games available.
A few?
Yeah, there was
a few golf games
that were paid for by somebody.
And his fucking look. I get wanting to have a date night with your wife.
Yes.
He's a husband. He deserves that opportunity. However, when it requires the Secret Service to shut down a restaurant and for you to travel into New York City, do you have any idea the cost?
This shit pisses me off, man. When you start going down this road, god damn, I think of the sucking sound. The whole 8 hours that bunch was in the White House. It just the vacuum is like a hurricane from above. I cannot believe the damn money that these fuckers went through.
Just look at it from the perspective of the First Lady. Every First Lady in recent...
The first boyfriend. There's still some speculation.
Yeah, she kind of got an Adam's apple.
Well, if she got the right dress, there's an obvious print of a dick on it.
Well, no, that's just Barry's. He just unscrews it and gives it to her. She holds his balls too.
That's
no.
This family
if you look
blows me away. Along with the Clintons, they got to go away, and the fucking Bushes. You got to go.
If you look at the first ladies over the last 50 or so years,
Lord, these people.
They've had a staff of 4 people, communications. A personal assistant, 4 people, right? Yes. Michelle Obama had 27 people full time on her staff
to Hawaii or to Morocco, and it would take 4 full-size 767s to get her entourage to Morocco.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're not talking about the C-130s that fly in the presidential limos and all that kind of stuff. No,
no,
we're not talking about that.
Oh, that's right. They got to get all that shit there too, don't they? They got to get. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
that's precious.
Yeah, because we all know what happens when.
Fucking shame. What a fucking shame.
All right.
These guys, they just blow me away. Them and their uselessness. And then you've got this guy up there now. Yeah, he's not presidential. You know why? Because he's not fucking presidential. He's a self-made dude who just wants to like fire people and yell at the press. I mean, hell.
I was having this conversation.
It's entertaining, if nothing else. It makes for good TV. Up until we have to call martial law.
You hired a fucking celebrity to be your president. He is a celebrity. Yeah. What's he famous for? Being rich, being an author, being on Celebrity Apprentice, and firing people. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? Why don't you just fucking hire Kanye next time?
We're going to elect him. That's a gimme. That's coming. Kanye 2020. Watch and see.
I'd vote for The Rock.
That's 2024. From what I understand,
maybe.
Yeah, that's we've got to get through the Ivanka administration first. We've still got that.
No, you got Trump. You got Donald Jr. and then you got Ivanka.
Yeah, we've got the royal family starting right here in front of our face. I know, it's a good time to start up this podcast because we're actually seeing the world turn right there, and we're here to watch it. The only thing, if we'd have been having a podcast up till the part where we started, it'd have been horrible. Because it would have been the same shit over and over. We're actually seeing the world change because we started this on Inauguration Day.
Yeah, we did, pretty much. Just think about that. You mentioned it, the Ivanka administration. Every woman that has ever tried to run for president, that lady back in the early 80s tried to be...
Ferrara?
Yeah. She was a looker, right?
Oh, she was... Yeah. I think we lost her twin sister, Janet Reno, this week.
Oh, God, no. Janet Reno died the day before the elections, November 8th.
That's right.
Yeah, and I believe a quote from her was, Donald Trump will never be president in my lifetime. I believe she said that.
Yeah.
And boy, she lived up to that one.
Yeah.
No, just think about how beautiful Ivanka is. At least we have something to enjoy watching. I can put it on mute and just enjoy.
Have you seen the videos of these guys who are trying to put Donald as abusing shit? How can I forget her name? Melania. Yeah.
No, I haven't. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that there's stuff out there. Yeah.
I tell you what, it's like it's well produced.
Well, here's the thing. Right after inauguration, there were those videos of. You know how Obama
held her hand.
Yeah, held her hand and all that kind of stuff. And he was very, reserved about that. There's a 20-year age gap between Obama and Trump. That's a different world. That's a different era. Right. PDA is not acceptable back then.
Correct.
It's a different mindset.
You were too busy beating your bitch as opposed
right. Well, she got out of line. She got smacked. I mean, that's what happened.
My grandparents had it happen.
Depending on where you lived, I know in South Carolina, it was legal for Sundays. You could beat the shit out of your wife as long as it's on the courthouse steps on Sunday.
That was always fun.
Yeah, I love those laws like that.
That's why the old guys sit around and played checkers right there on the stoop.
Yeah, fucking
waiting for
lunch
the Sunday
show. Shit,
why not? Or not. We got a Russian spy ship sitting off 30 miles off the coast of Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Yes.
Connecticut?
Yeah.
If you would have said Alaska, Washington, I'd have been like,
30. It's a Russian spy ship.
So they're in U.S. waters.
They're at 30 miles off the coast of Connecticut.
That's right.
Been there since Tuesday.
That's right at the international water line, isn't it?
Right there. Now,
no, I think it's 5 miles is international. Isn't it?
I think it's 3. Because at 3 miles you can start gambling on a casino boat.
Is it?
Yeah, but he's out there 30 miles and just sitting there, and of course you'll never get the full story. So I've looked at several sources, and all of them has says that there have been flybys, and they don't say from which side or the other, but that there's like light communication that's happening between this spy ship and our planes, drones, whatever it is that they're kind of hide that they're communicating with this thing with. And I mean, it just makes you wonder. There's some hunt for Red October shit going on. Right
There
beside
always is.
The coast there in Connecticut.
The international waters start, according to the United Nations Conventions on the Law of Sea, in 1982.
Excellent.
It is a belt of coastal waters extends at most 12 nautical miles, which is 13.8 miles or 22.2 kilometers from the baseline, which is the low water mark on a coastal state.
Well, you can start playing bingo at 3 miles off.
Yeah, because by the time there's a winter, you're actually
okay. Yeah,
you're out. You know what I'm saying?
There. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. I may have asked you this. Did you see the interview with Trump and the reporters earlier this week?
Oh, the one where they asked him about the Congressional Black Caucus and why he's not meeting with them, and he was like, "Hey, they won't take my calls. Can you set something up?
Yeah,
I'm down. I'll meet with whoever. It's a businessman."
You know what this is going to end up being? Say 20 years from now. I'm sure this is before your time. But the old celebrity roast. You know, you could buy them on DVD or whatever, and it would be this celebrity roast. In the future, because of the entertainment value, I'm pretty sure that somebody's going to start selling these press conferences on some format because they're going to be treasures 20 years from now.
Well, Trump got roasted.
Yes, and that was fun, too.
That was hilarious. I saw a picture the other...
I forgot about that. Yes, he did get roasted.
I grew up a wrestling fan, and George the Animal Steel actually died today. Which
that was sad. 79.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. There's family connection there, but
I love his hairy shoulders.
He was a professor, a college professor. He was actually a very smart guy.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
I loved the way he'd eat the corners out of it. He's just an animal. He was the animal.
George the Animal Steel. Him and my aunt dated briefly way back in the 80s. There's actually pictures there's pictures of me, and I'm too young to remember it, but I've seen the pictures. There's pictures of me on his lap at like 2 or 3 years old.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's cool.
The picture I saw had Trump in the Oval Office at his desk with Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley and all these people. Gotcha. And somebody made a meme of it. Something along the lines of he's Stone Cold Steve Austin has stunned half the people in this.
That's good. The rattlesnake.
Oh, gotta love the rattlesnake.
That is funny.
Not a fan of current wrestling, but wrestling in the 90s and stuff like that. 80s.
I was the same way.
Yeah,
I was hooked on it then,
times.
but I never did get into WWF, WWE, whatever that mess.
Well, and the only reason they changed it was because once World Wrestling Federation started getting some size to it and getting some notoriety, there was confusion between the WWF and the World Wildlife Fund.
That makes sense. Finally, after all this time, I get it.
Oh, that's why they changed it to World Wrestling Entertainment.
I get it.
That's the sole reason it got changed. Because
I always wondered.
Yep, that's what it was. The sole reason. So it makes sense that they made that change, but that's when it really started to blow up, and WCW and all that kind of stuff.
Do you remember NWA?
Oh, of course.
You remember Gordon Soley?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we went on vacation, and I was a Saturday Night Wrestling fanatic. Ric Flair, Mr. Wrestling number 2,
Woo!
Tony Atlas, Mr. Wrestling number 1. All these guys.
Yeah.
Well, in Atlanta, or in the Georgia NWA,
National Wrestling Association is what that stands for, by the way.
Randy Savage was
Macho
a guy
Man
here in Atlanta that got his ass whooped every Saturday night. Every Saturday night he was out there getting his ass whooped. And I remember me and my dad talking and saying, oh, this is bullshit because this guy's going to get fucked up again,
Yeah.
I saw the Scorpion. He put the finger of death grip on his head, made him bleed, with the claw or what have you.
I think the Macho Man is probably one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Check this out, though. Now, remember, this was back in the early days. But we went on vacation. We're in Florida.
I have a Florida story about Macho Man, too.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, we'll share stories.
The interesting thing is, in Atlanta, you've got Ric Flair, Mr. Wrestling number 2, Terry Funk. These guys are your headliners. They're your dollar bringers.
Yeah.
Randy Savage is getting his ass whooped by these guys. In Florida, same guys, same announcer. Randy Savage is Florida state champion. He's whooping everybody's ass, and the only difference is a state line.
Yeah.
And it was just, I think I kind of lost interest then.
All right. Two interesting stories about that. The very first Major League Baseball game I ever went to was in Philly. It was the Phillies, obviously, versus Cincinnati Reds. Mm-hmm. And I was...
A lot of red on that field.
There was a lot of red on that field. I was 10, maybe, something like that. And I was the people sitting behind me, a little older, obviously. And we were, me and my friend that went, his dad took us. Me and my friend Scott, his dad took us. We were talking, maybe one of us had a wrestling shirt on or something like that. And the guy was like, hey, my brother is one of the storyline writers it was still WWF back then.
Okay.
And so, we're talking about, we're 10 years old. This isn't a deep conversation,
Yeah. This is a heartbreaking conversation.
Right, this isn't really a deep conversation. Mm-hmm. And so, this was when the Rockers came out. Shawn Michaels' first thing. Yes. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, and they were just rolling. Yes. And they were doing their thing, high flying and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And he's like, Shawn Michaels is going to be an icon. He is going to be the champ. I'm like, oh well, yeah, they'll probably be tag champs. No. Yeah, he's going to be the next Hulk Hogan. He is going to be that thing. I'm like 10, 11 years old at the time. Oh, you've lost your...
How do you see that? How do you know this?
No, because his brother was the ones that were writing.
Not you, but this writer. How would he know?
Because that's how far out they have their storylines developed.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. So that's how far out they have their storylines developed, at least at the time.
Okay. So it's like a soap opera.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. And that conversation always stuck with me. And then we watched just that happen. Sure. It turned out to be the Heartbreak Kid and one of the best wrestlers ever.
Yeah, right.
So I've got a Macho Man story. A very good friend of mine was, and he's a bigger guy. He's 6'8". He's relatively scrawny, but he's 6'8". You're still big at 6'8". Mm. So he's drunk in South Beach, and this is 12, 15 years ago, something like that. And he's drunk in the middle of the day in South Beach, Miami, and he sees the Macho Man walking down the street. And instead of, hey, I'm a big fan, shake your hand, stuff like that, which I'm sure went over just fine. Sure. He walks up to him and goes, oh, yeah. And starts doing that type of stuff to him. And apparently, Savage looked at him, shook his head, and walked off. So he starts chasing him down the street and just, jumping in front of him.
It just sounds like a bad idea.
It does. And he jumps in front of him, and he keeps doing that type of stuff and talking like him, and finally, after doing it 4 or 5 times, Savage says, "You've got one more time."
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, I'm sorry," but he's drunk, and poor old Bo is too drunk to.
You're right.
Right.
It's a good time to hit him. He'll never know.
Probably.
Yeah.
So he walks. They walk opposite ways, and Bo just can't take it anymore. He turns around, chases him 2 blocks back, gets in front of him, does that thing one more time, and fucking Randy just lays his ass out.
Nice.
Crushes the orbit of his eye.
Oh, yeah.
Just fucking split his cheek open. Just one hit. Just massive. So he's got a scar and a story to tell, and he deserved every bit of it, but I don't know that I would put myself in that position. That's kind of like The Hangover, where the guy gets punched by Mike Tyson.
Absolutely.
You've lost your mind. Yeah. I don't care if he's been out of the game for 20 years.
Well, what's his ass the same night as the Trump roast? So Mike Tyson was supposed to hit Steve-O and knock him out. And instead, because of legal reasons, Mike Tyson had to hold his fist still, and
Steve-O could run into it. Yeah, I remember that. That was funny stuff.
Now, let me tell you my wrestling story. I'm in jail in DeKalb County. True story. DeKalb County. I'm in jail. I'm in the holding cell. Well, the holding cell sits right outside the communications area where the dispatch folks and where the sheriff's department is. There's a commotion comes over the radio. We need more officers at this certain bar. We need more. They start They cannot get this guy rounded up. A little while holds on, and now everybody who's in the holding cell knows that we've got trouble coming because there's a straight up asshole coming. When they wrestle this asshole out of the car and get him into the sheriff's department, now, this is a true story. Ole Anderson had whooped the ass of damn near every cop in DeKalb County. I shit you not.
Arn Anderson was a badass too.
Ole was a fucking monster because as they've got him in handcuffs and ankle cuffs, you can hear the cops as they're joking back and forth, right? And yeah, he had me, and he kicked the window out, and I'm sitting here just holding his cell. I'm about 19 years old. I'm going, please don't put this motherfucker in this cell. Please, God, don't do that. That was his scariest moment.
Oh, jeez.
But by the time he got there, all the fight was out of him. And then they're all buddies again. It's kind of like going to one of the matches. The cops whose ass he just whooped.
Yeah.
They're all wanting autographs and shit from this same guy. It was a strange
That's wild.
deal. But that was strange.
That is wild. Wild.
Justin Bieber is under investigation.
God, I hope so. For what, being Canadian?
He headbutted a guy. You know, he's starting to hang out with them MMA guys, and he got it every time he gets into some
He's
shit.
such a pussy. Like, why?
I don't know, dude. I think he's got a little bit of something. I mean, we saw him grow up from where he really was a pussy, but this dude, I think he's the real deal.
Yeah, I just remember the last time I saw him go after a reporter and his bodyguard, who was massive.
Yes.
I mean, he was massive. He was
Yes.
every bit of 6'10", probably.
Yeah.
And the size of a, 26-cube refrigerator. He just scooped him up under one arm like you would do a chick.
Yeah.
And just carried him away. And he was all, kicking and fighting like a fucking baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think these guys with the MMA that he's hanging out with are showing him some
he's
shit.
got unlimited funds. I mean, quite literally, right? I mean, he's worth $200 million and some change.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So he has literally unlimited funds.
Yes.
So anything, and you've done a lot of mixed martial arts in your time, if you've got the time and the right trainer, anything's possible, right?
Well, I mean, he's hanging out with top guys, though. I mean,
of course.
he's got the exposure to where if you watch real close, all of the MMA events, he's damn near first, second row in all of them, and he knows these guys personally. So I'm thinking he's going to make a career change. He's going to do something in the MMA. Yeah,
not a damn chance.
Wait, what? Not so much in the MMA, but he's going to be in the WWE at some point. He's going to have a beef with some big bitch, just like Trump did.
I hope so. But they've been friends. Trump and McMahon have been friends since McMahon's daddy still owned the place back in the 70s.
See, and isn't that a little bit unnerving though? Because I mean,
why he appointed Linda McMahon secretary of the SBA,
and that is what's kind of unnerving because you're the founder, creator, the money man, the brains behind a fake organization.
It's not fake. It's entertainment. It's no faker than Hollywood.
Or Washington.
In Washington, that's true.
Maybe that's the right choice. I never thought about it that way.
But here's the thing.
I always just feel like these people are shady. The McMahons are all shady. And I may have picked that up from that documentary with Bret the Hitman Hart.
Now, yeah, but see, he's a little pissed off because they killed his brother.
And they took his title from him in Canada, which was something under contract that was never supposed to happen.
Yeah, you have problems like that. Vince McMahon's a lot of things, right? But he is also a genius. He's a lot of things, but he's also a genius.
I'll have to take your word on that.
I don't know IQ-wise if he's a genius, but look what he's built from literally nothing. From a regional wrestling thing, and there's millions of those. He was
a business where the people's lives are very short, and they sometimes when they take themselves out, they take their family out with them.
Yep.
And I mean, there's a lot of problems.
But he built something where he had to be involved in the storyline. Linda McMahon was always very,
you're right,
very behind the scenes. She was always the business behind it.
You're right.
She was very rarely involved. He was always the face. He feeds off that stuff. I mean, he's an adultering piece of shit. Really? I mean, he's had affairs, and it's public knowledge stuff. He's had affairs on top of affairs, and he would go home and tell Linda about it.
Oh, that's sweet.
But yet they stayed together.
Well, I mean,
whatever makes their marriage work is not for me to judge.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
There's.
But they're buddies.
Oh, they've been buddies for a long.
Well, I guess so because they're based out of
the Northeast. Yeah,
New
the whole
thing,
Northeast. Yeah, I mean, billionaires hang out together. Sure, why not?
It's trying to learn how to create a wrestling franchise.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, they wrestle bears and stuff. So.
Got some leakers in the administration on the run.
Well, I hope they find them and fucking that pay-per-view thing again. Yes, that's what we need to do to leakers. That's treason as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you. And when you're talking about Russia, I keep agreeing with what Trump says, and even being the liberal here, I mean, it's not a bad thing to have Russia on your side. I remember a day.
I'd rather have them on my side than against me.
Well, there was a day when the liberals really wanted to be buddies. They wanted to give everything to Russia in order to be buddies.
Right.
And I mean, where did this turnabout come from? Saw something interesting today, that the election of Trump didn't rile up the left. It just exposed them for what they always were.
Yeah.
Right?
It gave them something to bitch about. And so now we got to hear them.
Yeah.
How much bitching did the Republicans do for the last 8 years?
They did their fair share, but there wasn't no substance to it. They wasn't setting each other on fire or castrating themselves or throwing people.
They did the people that did their fair share of it were the people that get paid to do it. The Handys and the Limbaughs and the Neil Boards back in those days.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They did what they got paid to do.
Correct.
Outside of that, it wasn't all this Facebook shit about, Obama did such a great job with this because he didn't fucking do anything for 8 years other than play golf and cost us money and triple or double our national debt.
What irritates me on Facebook is that Gary Johnson still finds a way to try to make himself relevant on Facebook.
So does Jill Stein.
Oh yeah, I love getting her shit. Yeah. It's so flatline. There's nothing there. There's no substance to it whatsoever.
Yeah, there's no substance to her followers either. But
well, it's a Green Party. I mean, you're talking the right, the left.
Well, didn't Cynthia McKinney run?
The fucking left, and yes, she did.
Didn't she run Green Party?
The Green Party, yes.
Jesus Christ, what a waste of skin she is.
Yeah, another one from Georgia. Another embarrassment to Georgia. Just like Hank Johnson. Just the list goes on and on. If there's who's the guy who called out Trump who was here from Georgia? It wasn't Hank Johnson. He's the one who thought the island would turn over. Cynthia McKinney's an idiot.
Cynthia McKinney's John Lewis.
John Lewis. I mean,
but everything we talked about this a couple weeks ago when he did this.
This is why I left DeKalb County. This is exactly why.
Yeah, fucking liberals.
Yes,
the ultra liberals. No, everything Trump said was factually correct. Highest crime rate in Georgia. Now, was it inappropriate? Okay, not going to argue with that.
Speaking of crime rates, have you seen Chicago for this week?
God.
This is another thing that I'm kind of into.
What is going on in Chirac?
84 murders.
This weekend?
No, just in the first. How deep into this year are we?
2
6
months?
weeks?
Yeah, 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
84 murders, 6 weeks.
84 murders. I saw a stat driving up here on those billboards.
Yeah.
158 deaths on the highway
already
in Georgia.
In 6 weeks.
Right.
On average.
We do that's about average. We do about 100 a month.
About 100 a month.
Yeah.
And we did 1,400 at the end of December.
Yeah,
so
we had
busy. A big rush there. We had a lot of folks wiped out in buses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I remember that. That was up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a damn shame. Yeah. Well, when you can put a big 40 like that up on the board, it's hard to recover from such things.
Yeah.
So we've been off topic a little bit, but I think we covered most things. I think our wrestling talk kind of covers the celebrity side of things.
That'll work.
We covered global. We covered national, state, local.
Yeah.
I think we did pretty well.
Yeah, we kind of stayed with it for the most part. I mean, unfortunately, I was sober during the whole thing. I ate a late dinner, so instead of having a beer or two, I had to tough this one out.
And I'm always sober. Drugs are bad. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm sometimes sober. I try.
Yeah.
But look,
sobriety's for the weak.
Let's do this again next week.
I think we can do that.
You think so?
I think we can work that out.
All right. Let's do that. How about us call it a week?
All right. This is G and Puto signing off. See you next week.
Have a good week, guys.